This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, BlizzCon 2015 gave us a lot of new Legion information. We put out a summary video earlier, so let's just get right into it and start talking about these things that were announced. This week I am, of course, again joined by LJ. Welcome, LJ.
Good evening.
And I believe this was episode 67. Don't quote me on that. We'll check after.
This was episode 67. Quote, Valentine.
Okay, off to a great start.
Always.
So, where do we begin? I guess we should just begin with the cinematic intro.
Cinematic, definitely. Really great cinematic, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I mean, we've talked about cinematics before of Blizzard, and this was just, full on Blizzard. Top A plus quality. This was, I mean, I really liked how Varian and Sylvanas looked. I was reading on Reddit earlier today as well that they screenshotted Sylvanas and that she wasn't too hot or oversexed, and I think that really hit the nail. I mean, Varian as well looked really grim and dark and battered by battle and everything, and I mean, it's a good introduction to I think an expansion that is going to really pit us against the Legion for one, really put us against the Legion and going to be a difficult battle, and I think that it just rocked.
Yeah, I completely agree. And a great thing about this cinematic is this is the first WoW cinematic, intro cinematic, that's actually part of the lore, basically. A continuation of the story, because what's going to happen is the cinematic basically happens, and then the Broken Shore, the Broken Shore event starts. So the actual introduction to the Legion expansion itself will continue this cinematic.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome, and not like although that Deathwing destroying the world was definitely part of lore. It's not like, okay, Deathwing destroyed the. Flew around and you see him and then you go do something. No, it's really this event happens.
Yeah,
go play.
It pits you. I mean, you wake up to a cold shower, and which is basically the ocean, and then you have to go to battle right away.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, that's pretty cool that they did it as well. And I also just it also emphasized that the Legion is a foe greater than just the Horde or the Alliance. So I mean, like I said, Sylvanas and Varian, just working out, pitting together against that what was it, Infernal?
Yeah.
Which destroys what's it called, the Sky,
the
ship. Oh. What's the ship called again? I mean,
we flew it in
we've been playing with it like for multiple expansions now, and I just forgot the name, but everybody knows what I mean. So I mean, that gets destroyed, so it already puts you in like a position that, well, you're screwed, not utterly screwed, but I mean, you're still in a very bad position. So I'm wondering how it goes from there, and questing cinematic gives a very overwhelming feeling, that more than questing sometimes. Yeah. But I hope that they can really immerse you in that the beginning stages of that continent.
Yeah, and speaking of Sylvanas, one of the first things I said to someone who I was typing to on Skype while the event was happening was, I'm so happy with how they portrayed Sylvanas. They've gone away from the completely evil, crazy, excuse my French, bitch, and if they continue this character development, she's going to be a lot more of a fun character to actually interact with, because I was really tired of the crazy
it was a bit. I know what you mean. It was a bit extreme because, but I think if you look at all the main characters, all the main faction heroes, they've all grown in the past expansions, and I think that this is exactly what you're saying, especially Sylvanas, but also Varian. I mean, Varian was this very bitter ex-slave type person who hated everything that had to do with the Horde, and now he's given up that to work with the Horde because he knows there's something more powerful that if he and Sylvanas and everybody else stays in their old dogmatic views, that they will eventually be destroyed just because of their own. Stupidity, basically. So I mean,
exactly.
it's a really good thing that they've let those characters evolve, and we've already heard in August, and now also again that together with the artifact weapons and everything, it's a very stuff's going to happen, and we're not probably all going to like it. Sometimes we might like it, sometimes we might not. So I mean, I really hope that there will be a lot of lore, interesting lore surrounding these characters.
Yeah, exactly. We know that we're going to get some Worgen and Undead story. I believe that's in the zone that's heavily Night Elf and Druid based.
Yeah,
so,
I'm trying to look it up now, but yeah.
Yeah, they gave some details for each zone in one of the first panels on the first day. And while admittedly that was a really boring part of the panel, it's good to have the lore, but the real good panels were on the second day, where we had all the game system changes, with which we're going to get into in the Q&A. But before we get into the actual content of the expansion itself, let's talk release dates. Summer 2016.
I'm going to bow out on this. So just listen to Messi. It's going to fill up a whole half hour. I'm just going to be over here doing stuff.
Well, that's not true. But I won't. I'll try not to rant. I'll try. Okay, so release date summer 2016, with the latest possible release date, the 21st of September 2016. Now, it's a bit contradictory, because they've said they're going to release the beta within the next few weeks or months, which would mean, and considering how much they've shown, they have a lot already implemented into or for the next expansion. So I'm wondering how long they are really still going to need. That said, if we are going to get the summer 2016 release date, that would mean a year, so at least 12 months, or up to 15 months of Hellfire Citadel. Now, if you remember, Siege of Orgrimmar was 40 months, so we would have 1 month longer of Hellfire Citadel than we did Siege of Orgrimmar, and it also means that the whole point of their goal being to reduce the time between the last raid and the next expansion would be completely obliterated again. Now, why is this important? Warlords content. We had one real big patch, and that's all we got. And with their continued insistence on having increased their team and having started working on Legion during Warlords development, this isn't the greatest way to start off the next expansion. Of course, the content that they have shown, which we're going to talk about now, looks amazing, but I just can't wrap my head around the fact that if we do in fact have such a long period of Hellfire Citadel again, that there won't be any new content in the meantime, especially considering how long they've worked on it. So, with that mini rant, LJ, have anything to add?
That was more or less a mini rant. That wasn't too bad. You can feel proud of yourself. But no, I don't have anything else to add, basically. All
right.
I agree. I definitely hope it's going to be not going to be, what was it, 15 months of the same expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, start of the summer, like May, would be much better.
May would be nice, but that would still be a spring release then. So
June then, May or June, something like that.
Up to the 21st of June would be May, because 21st of June is when
would be
summer
spring,
officially starts.
Would be spring, not May. May is just 1 month.
Yes, I meant
not
I meant
June,
spring. Sorry.
Okay. That's
You know
okay.
that I meant that.
It's okay. Nobody's perfect. But yeah.
Right, especially you. All right, moving on. Let's talk about leveling. Leveling is going to be pretty interesting. There will be 5 leveling zones. Was it 5? Yeah, I believe it was 5. And the really great part is these leveling zones are going to scale up to your level. Now, what does this mean? You can start in absolutely any of the zones when you start Legion. This means that not everyone will be packed into 1 or 2 zones. The server load at launch will be spread over 5 different zones. Now, that's freaking amazing. That'll make...
That improves a lot from like the previous expansions.
Yeah, exactly. That'll make life so much better if you take a day off and play starting at midnight. And this also means that if you level with a friend, for example, but they're 106 and you're 102, you can still group up with each other, start in a new zone, and do the exact same leveling content. You'll get the experience and loot that's useful for your level. So that's really awesome. That's basically taking the concept that's in Star Wars now, where they level you down to the zone. Instead, Blizzard is going to level the zone up to you, which is really nice. And
It's a cool feature. I think that really just that makes it a lot far more interesting for yourself. That you're more in control of what your character's doing, and doesn't have to follow this linear leveling guide. Basically, this leveling path.
yeah.
You can just do what you want, and like the benefits of it are just really gigantic. Technical wise as well. I think it's really a good thing.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree. I mean, I think everyone was quite happy if you looked on Twitter when they announced it.
Yeah.
Just really good, positive responses.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the end game. They're actually going to pretty much just bring Diablo 3 into World of Warcraft. Almost completely.
Well, the Diablo had not that much, but you can definitely see that they are the same company and that they steal a lot from each other, basically. So I mean, I think that you're going to say more about it, but just want to say right off the bat that I think that the things that they are stealing are really good things.
Completely agree. So, what are these things that they're stealing? First off, adventure mode, basically. The only thing that they're not really stealing is acts. So, adventure mode, what's going to happen? Basically, at max level content, endgame content, if you enjoy questing, you're still going to be able to do that every day. Just like in Diablo, you'll have quests in all the different zones pop up on your map, and you'll be able to go out and do them and earn rewards. One reward, for example, is artifact power, which we'll get to in a bit. You'll also get NPCs from different factions in your class order hall daily, and they will also give you quests. They call them world quests. For example, for the Valkyra faction, you'll have to do, for example, 5 of the world quests related to the Valkyra. You turn that in, and assumingly you get reputation. Now, the good thing is, this isn't like a daily. It's not like every single day it'll be only one different NPC. Instead, what's going to happen is the NPC comes to your hall on a certain day, and you can accept the quest, but you won't have to do it right away. The NPC will stay around for a few days before they actually leave. Now, at the same time, the next day, another NPC should appear, from what I understand. So there will be a continuous stream of content, or rather rewards, for you to do the content. Which is amazing. It's adventure mode with bounties, basically.
Yep.
So, yeah, LJ, thoughts, basically.
Thoughts? Are you sure you want to know? No, I think it's a really good system. I think I'm really looking forward if it's going to be implemented the same way they did it with Diablo. They have enough experience with it now as well. Diablo show how to do it. I love it how they do it with the quest givers as well, so you don't have to do it all in one day. That you can just spread it out. So today I can't really do it, so tomorrow I can do more, stuff like that. No, actually, I'm very positive so far. I mean, with a lot of things, like I said, I don't really have anything that I'm negative about at the moment. Really, just gonna
Mm-hmm.
say that right away.
Okay.
I'm really happy so far with what Blizzard has said. I mean, of course, they have to really make it come true because we know all Blizzard is like saying stuff at BlizzCon and then the game are two very different things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I totally think it's a good thing.
All right, so let's head on over to the next thing. We're following a lot of the structure of our summary video, but at the end we're also going to dive into other information and subjects that aren't covered. But world drops, and this is one point that I'm not completely positive about. I'll see if my view is understandable. Basically, what's going to happen with world drops is, first of all, they're not going to be epic anymore, they're going to be legendary. Secondly, just like the bounty reward with possible legendary in each act in Diablo, these world drops will drop in specific regions in the Broken Isles. So you'll be able to farm certain areas for these certain world drops. There are, obviously this will be RNG based as far as we know as how much they'll drop. They'll have certain effects. I believe one is to increase movement speed, or perhaps that was on a crafted item. It doesn't matter. They'll have special effects, some for a specific class, some just more general effects. Now, these can drop, or rather all items in the world can drop with an increased item level, and basically you can just get legendaries that drop randomly in the world. You don't have to do anything difficult for it. This really is just farming. Now, for myself, I've, in my entirety of playing World of Warcraft, so 10, 11 years now, I've gotten, or has it been 10, 11 years? Doesn't matter, let's say 9. I've gotten one world drop for me in the entirety of my playing the game. So I'm very apprehensive about people randomly getting these legendary items through this way. What do you think, LJ?
Well, you were saying talk about world drops that you only had one during the whole play.
Yes.
Like, okay.
That was the one we got when we were leveling an alt together in Warlords, this expansion.
I've
That
had
was,
like multiple, also from the scrapyard, right? The you've
those
never.
don't count as world drops.
Oh, okay. Well, then I've only had one or two as well, but no more maybe even, but still no. I think it's weird. This is the world drops the legendaries, right?
Yes.
Because I think it's weird that you can just farm basically a legendary.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a weird idea to me because a legendary you need to put a lot of work in there. You don't just you can spend time on it. Of course, farming is spending time on it as well, but in a different way. It's more
Yeah.
luck based than actually
Yeah.
working. I think it's that's definitely one of the more less positive sides of this BlizzCon of
Mm-hmm.
Legion. Then um, I think it's the idea can be good because it's nice that the world drops actually are worth it that much now and not just for money, but they can actually improve your character
Yeah.
because that was almost never the case.
Well, only at the start of the expansion, and if you had a
Yeah.
buttload of gold, you bought them off the auction house, and here you go, your character is 10, 15 item levels above the rest of your guild.
Exactly, because you have a lot of money. I agree, and that is, I think that's also nice that they're going against that with this
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah.
So on the whole, the jury's out for me. The jury's not
Okay.
out. The jury's still debating. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really conflicted about this because if you play devil's advocate, you can say, well, RNG, the old legendaries in raids were also RNG and also basically farming. Yes, but that's on a weekly lockout, and that was with a group of 25 people, so you had some control over who would get that item.
Yeah, true.
This, yes, farming requires time. That is effort, but it's not the same if it's world mobs. It's not the same as having to find a team and actually putting more effort into the process. This is more mindless. From as far as we know what it's going to be, they're going to give us more details about how the legendary world drops will work later on in development. So perhaps it's going to be something completely different. But as if they act as current world drops and are just legendary in certain areas, it doesn't sit right with me.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And that's all I can really say about it. I think we'll have to wait for beta, obviously. We'll have to wait for beta. But what are you doing, Blizzard? Almost all of BlizzCon, as far as Legion is concerned, has been so positive. So, with that, unless you have anything else to add, I'd say let's move on to dungeons.
Let's move on to dungeons.
Alright, so...
Not your private dungeon, right? I mean, the last time was a bit freaky.
Oh dear. Right. Dungeons. We're getting one more dungeon than they had announced at Gamescom, which in and of itself is great. We're going to get 5 leveling dungeons and 5 max level dungeons. And the leveling dungeons are going to work just like leveling in Broken Isle. You can do any of them at any point. They'll once again scale to you, which is really freaking nice. Now, as far as the maximum level dungeons are concerned, I don't really have any good information on that. So, leveling, awesome. I don't think we can really add anything to that. So, let's just move on. But on the endgame side of things, challenge versions. The new challenge mode dungeons are going to work a lot like Greater Rifts. You get or you loot a challenge stone, I believe it's called. And
challenge stone, exactly.
And with this challenge stone, you can activate the random challenge mode dungeon of the week.
Challenger's Keystone.
Challenger's Keystone. There you go. So, with this, you gather a group, you go to the dungeon, you activate it, and your Keystone will have a level. It will have it will have a level and it will have traits. The level in general will just increase the difficulty of the dungeon. If you complete the dungeon within a certain amount of time, then your key levels up. And so you can do the dungeon on an even harder difficulty, and obviously you'll get increased rewards for that. And the traits, which are affixes, basically influence the way that these challenge mode dungeons operate. For example, if it has the Enrage affix, then every mob in the dungeon will enrage at 30% health. So that way, every week the affix or trait will change, and every week the challenge mode dungeon will behave differently. So that's pretty interesting. But, and basically, hey, you can level it up just like Greater Rifts. So that's all fine and dandy. The problem for me is the timer. Again, challenge modes obviously always have the timers, and as the higher the level, of course, the harder the dungeon and increased rewards, as I said.
But this time there's not. It's not a bronze, silver, or gold system, right?
No, it's just
it's just a timer, exactly like in Diablo. You have a timer. You have a fixed time that you have to do it in, which I agree should be the way to do it.
Yes and no. They said that it'll be around silver difficulty. So
that's not good.
Yeah, exactly. It's the devil is in the details.
True.
It'll be around silver difficulty, and my same criticism of challenge modes right now in general. Time trials aren't really fun. I've never enjoyed them. I'd much rather have the content indeed level up and become harder each time. But a timer is just such a nasty way to...
It's also a very easy way to get to. It's an easy cop out of Blizzard, I think, sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, basing things on time. I mean, it can make things it can make things more challenging, but it's the same way that Blizzard, with tactics and raids. I mean, more tactics, more stuff, more
Hmm.
things doesn't actually make a raid better. It makes it more difficult, but better and difficult aren't, equal.
Yeah, that
And
indeed.
with time, that it's just, I get that it's an easy way to just say, okay, you have so many minutes to do it, have fun, go for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the affix that they brought in. I would put the timer more like bronze then,
Hmm.
just or maybe maybe scale that up a little bit every time you go. Like if you go
Yeah.
from past a certain keystone level,
Yeah,
like for
I
instance
agree.
the first five you have bronze, the 6 to 10 you have silver, 11 to 15 you have gold or stuff like that. I mean, just saying something, and then with the affixes, and then just gradually increasing the more difficulty, that eventually your group will hit a wall because it doesn't have the skill, the people, the setup, the whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That way, the timer wouldn't be such a bad thing. You'd start on a very easy timer and then work your way up while increasing your keystone.
You wait. You completely agree with me?
Hang on, I feel dirty. Be right back.
Oh my god! Ah, and this is going to be on YouTube.
Well, yeah, yeah, it is. Oh my god. Quickly turn off Ventura.
And go take a
Sorry.
shower. Just
Yeah, exactly. Getting back to it. So completely agree with that. Just to add to that, the goal of the development team is to make this a legitimate alternative to rating. Now that I really like.
yeah,
It would be nice, assuming this is in the end this is a really good system. That this is an alternative to rating. You can get the best gear in something other than rating, but that's still challenging. Yeah, that's all I
yeah.
can really say about it. It's just really good. Um, Let me see. Did I forget anything? There's a lot of details.
More about artifact weapons, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So we're finished on dungeons. So
Yeah. Oh,
let's
you were
talk.
dungeons. Yeah,
Yeah,
dungeons are pretty much cleared up now, I think. Details, like I said, I mean, you can always go to World Weekly, go for the details. You can watch
yeah,
the video that Messi has put out. We're just, going through the main guidelines here, the main
yeah.
guidelines.
Exactly. So let's talk about artifacts. Artifacts are your weapons for the entire expansion. Uh, Two things for artifacts: traits and relics. Traits are basically old school talents, which I'm really freaking happy about. Obviously that's nostalgia, but I didn't mind the old talent system. So what's going to happen? You're going to be able to earn artifact power. With this artifact power, you'll be able to unlock the traits or talents within your artifact. It'll empower stuff like your artifact itself, your spells, and, for example, perhaps grant you a new ability, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, you have relics, which are basically the replacement for weapon drops this expansion. Your artifact will have a few slots for relics, and they're of different types. So if you loot a relic of a certain type that matches your artifact, you'll be able to equip this relic in your artifact, and this relic will give it a power boost. For example, plus item level, and for example, for one of your traits, increase the rank amount. So instead of having 3 points in, whatever a certain trait is named, you get an additional point in that. So if you've maxed it out, instead of 3 points in it, you have 4 in it. So it could increase your crit by 8% instead of 6%, which is nice. Obviously, you'll have to remove the relics as you get further into the content and replace them with better ones, but that's basically how artifacts are going to work. Not much I can really say about it other than looking pretty good. Can't wait to actually test it in the game.
I agree. I don't have that much more to add. You explained it perfectly. I can't wait for the whole system to actually to. I'm looking forward to testing a lot of things of this. The beta, I don't usually play betas as much, but I'm really looking forward to this one.
Oh, you're going to be playing for the website anyway, whether you like it or not.
In the dungeon again? No!
Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Let's talk about professions.
Sure, let's talk about professions. What would you like to say about professions, Mezzy?
Well, why don't you explain professions?
Oh god, now I have to do something.
I mean, this was so well prepared, obviously.
So,
It's not
always, we are the best people ever.
It's not like I have exams tomorrow or anything.
You have exams tomorrow?
Yeah,
What the
3
hell
this
are we-
week.
Why are we doing this now then?
Because this is new. Otherwise, it's old news.
And it's much more interesting than
Exactly.
exams. Yeah, that's true. I can't agree more. Well, professions. There's a lot to say about professions now as well. I'm just getting my notes over here, our notes. They're supposed to, what? Don't stop laughing. Basically, what they're going to try and make it more, more fun. Give it more, not just like they did with the garrisons, a daily chore that you have to do. There will be more story to it, if you can say that. For instance, also something that I think is really awesome: mining and herb nodes will be shared, so no more looting or stealing from other people. So. Screw you, bad people who do that.
Druids, cough.
Druids with herbs and such, yeah. Don't get me started. Recipes will have ranks 1, 2, and 3 stars, so you will need less and less materials for higher level recipes, which is very nice. I would say.
It gives you something to do with your profession, not just
Exactly.
crafting, but
Yeah.
perhaps going out and doing a quest chain.
Yeah, exactly. But the crafting has also gotten another function now because you can destroy the things you craft and get obliterum. Am I saying that correctly? Obliterum, yes. So that is a crafting material just on itself. You won't, like in Star Wars: The Old Republic, you can reverse engineer or you can dismantle and get the materials back. No, you actually get a new material, and with this material you can get a quest chain at level 110. And you can you'll be able to increase the power level of your items with this stuff. Also, they want crafting gear to feel more special. So special things, special bonuses. More when you equip it, you have more run speed while you're enraged, or you have a certain buff, stuff like that. So it has more. It's not just this has a higher item level for the next 5 days because then something will drop from who knows what. No, it actually it gives a little bit more of a nice feel to it. That you actually, you mined, herbed, whatever, that stuff, and actually got something out of it for your character.
It's like the engineering goggles as well. The engineering goggles have always had the looking in far sight, I believe it was. Just like the Shaman Farsight spell.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll be adding more flavor to the crafted items.
Exactly. Inscription is going to have a major revamp because major glyphs are going to be removed, and minor glyphs will be equipped to spells themselves to give an extra effect or thingamajig. Like you just had it, the UI you used to have. Now you just select a spell and you can have a different effect on it if you want.
Yes, and one detail on that I read after the panel.
Yeah.
The minor glyph effect is going to last for 1 day. So after a day, you're going to have to reapply it. That way the inscriptionists
Can still make money.
Exactly.
Except next to the DMF cards and trinkets and such as well, because those are back. There are new rune types. Phantus runes. Which will have a 1 week duration. You can only use them once a week, and they give you a certain buff, a unique buff, like when you're battling Xavius, you will do more damage to him. Xavius is a raid boss, just so you know. So that's something that, there's a lot more flavor to professions at the moment. Just not dull, create 10 of these and then continue and stuff. I mean, that'll still be there, but with the eventual product that you make, you can actually do something more, and it has a better feeling to it. Also, archaeology is going to be different. It will give a month-long quest chain instead of how it is now. I'm not sure. I mean, there's no further details as if it's a grind fest or not. So I mean, take everything with a grain of salt so far on that. It's good that they're going to do something different with it. Like they promised Archaeology would be first place. I mean, they said it wouldn't be a grind fest, but it's probably the biggest grind fest there is in the game.
Well, at least that happens 3 expansions later. It's not like the dance studio.
Which will be under Terrasfall Glades. Oh,
yes. Don't tell anyone. It's where the old gods learn to dance.
Oh my God! Just see Yogg around dancing. Oh God! Tentacles. Cooking.
Eyeball here,
Cooking.
eyeball there.
Oh yeah, eyeball mouth thing. Anyways, cooking has the best improvement ever because now you can cook bacon.
Yeah, that's all we need from cooking. Don't need anything else. We don't need the quest chain going out.
Exactly.
Picking up cooking materials that we have to then give to an NPC. No, we just need bacon.
Yep.
For the rest of cooking ever.
Basically, for the rest, it's going to be the same again: quest chain and recipes. So cooking's going to stay the same. So just make food and have buffs. GG.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the gist for all professions. You'll get quest chains. Although I'm not sure for stuff like first aid, they were kind of joking about first aid at that point in the presentation about getting 2 new types of bandages. Wow.
Yeah.
So I have the feeling first aid is probably going to be the same, and fishing perhaps as well. I'm not. Obviously, I was typing along as the panel went. I'm not sure what they're going to do with fishing now, if anything at all.
Yeah. Anyways, that was professions basically, which there's some changes. It's not major. Mm-hmm. It's not
the ranks is.
The ranks is pretty major. That can be pretty big, but it's nothing as a complete overhaul of the whole system. I think that it's okay. I mean, you shouldn't change it all. Though professions can be a bit tedious sometimes. Like you said, some are more tedious than the others.
Yeah.
But maybe more to come. I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's move on to
Transmog.
Yeah, probably my favorite overhaul in Legion.
For most people, I guess.
The Transmog overhaul. Once again, going to work like Diablo 3, but with extras. You're going to have a collection / wardrobe. That'll work. It's in the video right now, actually. The screenshots are floating by. Basically, you'll be able to you'll be able to collect gear as you have been doing, and once you equip it, the look of that gear piece will be saved in your wardrobe. So at that point, it'll be unlocked, and you'll always be able to transmog to it, which means you can then delete the item or sell it obviously, at least get some gold out of it, and you'll still be able to always transmog to it, which is really nice. Now what's going to happen is once the patch hits, not only will everything in your bank, inventory, and void storage be unlocked right away, every single item from any quest you've ever done, even items that you didn't pick from quests, will also be unlocked right away. So when the patch launches, you'll have a lot of different things to already transmog to. And then you can clear out the hundreds of storage spaces in your void bank and regular bank, and suddenly you won't know what to do with your inventory, which will be pretty nice. Other awesome things about the transmog system: you can save outfits and share these outfits with friends. Now, what will happen is your friend will then get the templates for your transmog outfit, basically. And obviously, if they have all of the items, they can transmog to it. But if they don't, they'll be able to see which items they're missing, so they can go out and hunt for those, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
To add to that, you'll be able to transmog weapon enchants, shirts, and finally, absolutely finally, tabards.
Woo!
Isn't that a system we've been waiting for since Cataclysm, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely rings a bell.
Exactly. So, all in all, a great system. I'm really looking forward to it. And I just wish we had it already. It makes me even more mad that we won't actually get Legion until summer 2016. What
Yeah.
are you doing to me, Blizzard?
Yeah,
Seriously.
exactly. I mean, this whole system, this revamp, like you said, with the tab watch, everything. I want it now.
Yeah.
I have so much stuff in my bags and such. I think I'm gonna make like a couple K gold just selling stuff because it's already in Transmog, in the system
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing else to add to this. I mean, it's purely positive. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, what I'd suggest, and suggest to you as well done right now, is start getting the sets on alts, for example. Get the shaman stuff if you're a hunter on a shaman. So you unlock those because the system is account wide. Once you unlock something, it's unlocked for all your characters.
Oh, like that. Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, I didn't think about that like that. So because there
Yeah.
are a couple good sets out there that would be really awesome for the one they are not designated to.
Exactly.
Oh my
So
god.
unless they restrict tier sets and such, you'll be able to wear tier 4 shaman gear.
What's that? Tide Hunter or something? Wave?
I believe it's tier 4 shaman with the blue orbs in your shoulders from Karazhan.
Oh, that one is so awesome.
To wear that as a hunter, I would love to do so. I loved some of the shaman sets. So unless they restrict it to classes, I'm going to have to start collecting on my alts. So you might want to bring a buddy along, so on 2 different tier token alts, so you can collect things quicker.
So when are we going to do this?
After my exams, obviously. So,
Okay. Well,
Sunday?
I mean, Sunday? I think so. I'm not sure because Fallout 4 is coming out Tuesday, so...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to have time for Transmog yet. I'm going to be playing Legacy of the Void.
Exactly,
And
so,
the
I
new
mean...
Hearthstone adventure.
And it's going to come out, like, in next
We have
year or so.
plenty
We
of
still...
time.
We have plenty of time, unfortunately, but we have it.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we'll be playing the beta soon, though.
So yeah, for everybody out there, Fallout 4, oh my god! And I'm gonna make everybody of you jealous because I actually have, I'm getting the Pip-Boy edition. I mean, I don't know if it says anything to Valentine, to Messi, but
Nope.
yeah, I have
Okay,
it. Or I
so-
can get it, so.
Anyway, that was the general tip for Transmog. Collect them all. Play your alts.
Gotta collect them all!
You have something
Transmogrification! Was that a bit too over the top? That was a bit over the top.
No, that wasn't. That was beautiful. Don't ever change that again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, good. I regret saying that. Let's move on.
I'd like to thank everybody for this prize.
Right.
Continue, come on. Now it's an awkward silence. Come on, man.
And it's all your fault.
You always blame me. I gotten used to it.
Okay, so
I can do the next bit. I mean, I can make it horrible.
Let's get into something that we haven't really... I told you briefly, but I didn't put in the video. In Legion, for example, in the Demon Hunter starting area, you know, back in Warcraft 3 during campaigns when lore characters were talking, and you got that panel in the middle of your screen with their head and the voiceover?
Yeah.
We're going to get that in Legion. So
Oh yeah, that was
during
cool. Yeah, I saw that.
questing,
Yeah.
during questing, you're going to get that. There's more voiceovers in this expansion than any other.
I read that. That's pretty cool. I think they got the message that people want a more personalized, or at least a more a better experience for themselves.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, Star Wars: Old Republic, which I just completed with one character, the whole the new expansions.
Yeah.
The experience that you get as single player wise, so for yourself, is amazing. I mean,
Story is so much.
story is so awesome. I mean, the story in World of Warcraft is on itself is pretty cool, but you don't really get immersed in it like you do with Star Wars. So I think that with the voiceovers and all that, the personalization and such, I think that's a really good step forward to setting to that. That people can, you know, really think this. Especially also with the artifact weapons and everything. That's really, this is about me, my character, and he or she or it. That's all to the gnomes there, the it. Actually does something, because sometimes that lacked. It's just, you know, you are this hero, you're amazing, and could you please catch 8 chickens over there because they ran away?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really give an epic feeling.
Well, can you imagine now for a second?
Oh God!
That
Don't say cuckoos from Link from the story of Zelda, because then it's epic. But
no, not at all.
okay.
Imagine starting the quest, then getting the pop-up of, for example, a gnome, and you start hearing the voiceover. Please collect 8 chickens.
Please collect 8 chickens.
I'd say that's pretty epic. Come on.
That it definitely has something now that you say it. God damn it! Why do you have to ruin everything? Oh, I'm trying to make this good. I'm trying to make this good example, and no, let's make it epic anyways. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, imagine the next poop collecting quest. Pick up 15 of these
piles
of cherries.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, suddenly collecting quests don't seem so bad with that moment of entertainment.
Yeah, it does definitely have something good to it.
I mean, yeah, that it's gonna be really cool, and I like that they're doing it their Blizzard way. They're doing it like they did in Warcraft 3. They're not switching to something like what Star Wars does with the entire. Okay, stop moving your character. You can obviously still walk around and stuff like that. So, kudos to whoever came up with the idea.
Indeed.
Okay, so let's see. What else can we talk about? We can talk about Tri-Spec.
The weather.
No longer have to choose. We can talk about the weather, sure. I mean, it's been the warmest November ever in the Netherlands.
Ah, that's true.
So far. But anyway,
moving on.
Tri-Spec. Yes, you don't have to choose 2 out of 3 specs anymore that you carry around. You'll be able to play or switch to any of the specs that you have. So for most classes it's 3, for Demon Hunters it's 2, and for Druids you can switch to all 4 specs. Obviously for a long time they kept to dual spec because they wanted you to make a choice, they wanted it to matter. But now because of the artifacts and stuff like that, they're letting
those are the choices. They're otherwise it would have been a double bottleneck basically.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now it's more like, okay, the artifact weapons, the choices you make there are the more significant ones. You still have to choose, of course, which role you're going to fulfill, but it's not going to be something that you have to, stand still and actually prepare beforehand. Your weapon you have to prepare, not yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just really nice, and obviously for pure DPS classes, it won't really matter as much. But for the hybrid classes who have all 3 roles, or really all 3 roles, you can switch easier. You can be more of a use to your group, to your guild, raid.
Finally, Mazzy.
Yeah, it's about time you be dead.
No, you. I was referring to. Oh God.
I'm a pure DPS class. So I can do anything. I can switch roles.
You just don't want to. That's the only thing holding you back.
Oh, I want to. Did you not see my master specializations video?
Yeah, you did. I did, actually. So, yeah. True. Never mind. Let's continue.
Let me heal or tank as a hunter. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Alright, I'm just looking through notes and if we've forgotten anything, but I think we've covered pretty much everything that was said over the weekend.
Think so.
Yeah. Going through it quickly. I mean, we haven't really talked about Demon Hunters, but there's not really much to talk about. Obviously,
not much new was said about it. No. Well, there was some information and such about it, but I think people can look at that for themselves. That's very, it seems like a very cool class, and it's been a class that's been, in the pipeline in the rumor mill for a long time.
Yeah. Back in Burning Crusade.
Exactly, like pre-Death Knight, it was Demon Hunters they were talking about. So, and it's cool to finally see them arrive. I think they're going to be a class that I'm going to enjoy a lot because I like melee, and I don't know, it just has a good feeling about it. Plus, the double jump overpoweredness is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what's nice is if you pre-order Legion, you'll be able to play Demon Hunter before Legion actually comes out.
That's also very true.
And it says at least 7 days. So if they finish development earlier on Demon Hunter, they could use it as a so-called extra content to tide us over until the Legion launch.
Yeah, true.
So that's pretty nice. Yeah, and basically what they showed of the Demon Hunters was some of the starting area, at least how it looks, some of the abilities, and that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, there's not much else you can tell about the class. So we'll just have to wait until we actually get to play them. We could talk about... Oh, we didn't actually talk about class halls. Now, there are some interesting things. As we know, class halls will be the places where you, as your class, go. So basically, it's Garrison 2.0, but then for lots of people, the same thing. Not all I want to say Garrison. Not all.
Close enough.
Close enough. Not all class halls will be the same. For example, if you're a hunter, you have access to flying eagles. You'll have
Lord of the Rings, anybody?
Yeah, exactly. You'll have a special flight network for around the Broken Isles to travel around only as a hunter, which is pretty cool. The warriors will have an arena, and where was the last one? Oh yeah, druids will have dream portals to travel around as well. So each class will obviously have its different flavor, and you'll actually be able to do stuff there other than picking up your world quests. I think that's really everything. So overall, I'm really looking forward to Legion. I'm hating the projected release date. I'm absolutely hating it. But hopefully the wait will be worth it.
Me too.
And Blizzard won't disappoint like they did with Warlords.
I agree, but yeah, I mean,
Speculate.
it's all speculation. We'll see what happens. It's still too early to actually, hate it already. We can do that, but we'll see. And so far, like I said, this BlizzCon has been really great. There's been a lot of good information. So I'm just wondering. The only downside, like you said, is the release date at the moment.
And
we'll see what happens.
Possibly time the challenge mode.
Yeah, that exactly. But we'll see.
So before we end this, let's speculate.
Uh-oh.
Are we going to get 3 raid tiers? I think this setting allows it to actually give us 3 raid tiers again.
Yeah.
Because first raid tier are Suramar Palace and the other one that I've now forgotten the name of. The last raid tier will probably be Tomb of Sargeras.
Emerald Nightmare, by the way.
Oh yeah, indeed. The other raid was Emerald Nightmare.
Yeah.
It's the very first one, actually. So anyway, last raid tier assumingly will be Tomb of Sargeras, but they did say Karazhan was going to be important. Now during the Q&A they said a 5-man dungeon, but they kind of said it jokingly, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to be a 5-man dungeon in patch 7.1. So we could possibly get a whole new Karazhan raid because of the importance of Karazhan in this expansion, which would make raid tier number 2, which would lead to 3 raid tiers as a whole.
True.
What do you think the likelihood is of that happening, though?
Not that great. I don't know. I'd have to say not that great because of this expansion, basically. So I mean, I don't want to go ahead of myself. I like speculating; can be nice, but it's just, yeah, it's difficult to say. It would be. It's a really good location or setting, and they definitely have enough lore and everything to go ahead with it. Enough enemies, lore, everything. But it is Blizzard, so they might decide to go against it. I don't know.
They have a lot to make up for, don't they?
Yeah, but do they feel it like that?
I have to wonder about that.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
I doubt that they feel it like that. They should feel like that, but still I doubt it. So yeah, that also just tells me that they might choose not to do it and just wait for it.
Hmm. Fair enough. Anything else you would like to say about Legion before we close off?
No, really. I think we've discussed the most important things
Yeah, exactly. We have been at it for a while. Maybe we're
for
getting
quite a
close
while.
to an hour now.
But that's okay. There's enough to discuss. So
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you, LJ, for joining me again. A second podcast in a row in a week.
oh my god,
We're
just like
actually
old times.
Yeah, we're actually putting out more content again. I mean, it's crazy.
It's cool. It's nice, especially now that there is actually content and stuff to get out there, put out there.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to you, the viewer, for watching. If you liked our ranting and raving, throw us a like, click the subscribe button, and let us know in the comments, what do you think of Legion so far? What are you looking forward to the most? And what do you think of these challenge modes coming in Legion? I keep wanting to say Warlords, but it's Legion, not
It's
Warlords.
Legion, yeah.
If you if you like the podcast, check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/bbmezzy or facebook.com/wowweekly. And I think that's all I needed to plug. So once again, thanks for watching. I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.
See ya.